Monogam-ish contains content intended for mature audiences. The views expressed here are for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Justina.
And I'm Kenji.
And we're Monogam-ish. And today, we have a throuple on the show.
I know.
I like that word.
I know. It's really cool.
It's a fun word to say, throuple. And we don't do we haven't done a polyamory show in a while, so I'm really excited. We have with us today
Kenneth, Erin, and Tom.
Thank you guys.
Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome. So let's start. Let's just kind of go down the line and tell us how the relationship works and a little bit about what you define as your sexuality.
Okay, I would define myself as a hetero, flexible, cis male. I'm, mostly attracted to this particular woman. I mean, you wanted just to talk like how we met?
Sure.
Okay, so we met about 7 years ago on a app called Wish.
Oh.
I had just moved into Colorado Springs.
Literally, he just drove in.
I had
to
just
Colorado
driven in and settled into my hotel for the night, and I installed Wish. I'd had it on there before, but I reinstalled it, and she had made a post, which she had said she'd never really done before, that said, I just want to be wined and dined. And if you know about Wish, it's an anonymous thing. You don't see faces or names or anything.
You don't know genders.
Mm-hmm.
So I responded to it, and we had an anonymous conversation with each other. We exchanged pictures, and she didn't believe the picture was me because I was
way too handsome.
It was one of my headshots. I was doing
buddy.
some screen work at the time, and she thought I looked like Bryan Cranston. It looked like, and it was a professional picture, right? So she said, "No, send me a real picture."
I just happened to be very involved in Breaking Bad at the time. I was obsessed.
So
and I always go for the bad boy in the show. Like I'm just like obsessed with them. I'm
right.
like, all right.
So as soon as she saw that, it was like I almost had an instant in, you know. So yeah, and then it just took off from there. We got married less than a year later.
Oh, wow.
And
congratulations.
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
And you guys have been together for how long now?
We've been together like 7 years.
We've been married for six. Yeah. Recently celebrated 6 years. So
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Yeah.
So how would you define your sexuality then, Erin?
So I'm very fluid. I'm bisexual.
Okay.
I'm attracted to various people. It just depends on the energy that we exchange and everything. I'm very hippie-ish when it comes to that. So I need to spend time with people and really get to know them and make sure it's the right connection. But yeah, I'm bisexual. Love men and women.
Okay. So you guys at some point then decided to open up the marriage, or had you decided that it was going to be open from the start?
So before we got married, and very early on, I think we'd been together maybe a month and a half, thing. I knew she was bisexual, and she didn't have an outlet for that. Do we want to?
So I would like to say that we were probably involved in the lifestyle before we met each other.
Okay.
Even though we hadn't really found the underbelly of it, so to speak. Like we didn't
didn't
really
know how
know
to
the right
define it?
people or we were just we were both doing our own thing before we met each other. Like kind of
In non-good ways.
Oh,
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
probably not the best ways because I didn't
Non-ethical.
know. I felt
Yep.
trapped. Like I felt like I was different and always having to hide things, coworkers, family, whatever, because I had these
A secret life.
I had a
Right.
secret life. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
exactly.
So when we met, we kept no secrets from each other, from the very beginning. We
I
just
could
became
breathe with this man. I
right.
could tell him
Yeah.
everything. So.
And that was like breathing. That was kind of and so
And he was on the same level. So
right.
Isn't it awesome to find somebody who accepts you for who you are?
Yeah,
Right.
and they
I
want to
mean,
be with you
Yeah,
entirely.
that's right.
I mean,
That's right.
we both told each other our ugliest shit, and we were okay with that. Well, not okay with it. I mean, it
We
was
loved
ugly.
each other.
Yeah.
We accepted each other
Right.
for who we were.
That's right.
Whereas we were trying to hide it from
Yeah.
our other
Previous partners.
relationships.
Yes.
So before we got married, we knew there was going to be some kind of open, you know, we didn't really know, but it was a very slow evolving thing. And I especially wanted to keep things slow. She was usually the one kind of pushing things forward. But I wanted to make sure, because I'm old and it's taken me this long to find a person that
But
I
a
can
very young
connect to
soul.
this
He
way,
loves
that I can really just be totally honest and open and share completely with. And I didn't want to do anything to risk losing that.
100%.
So
And I'm
was-
so grateful that we took those baby steps that we did.
yeah.
Within
And
the
me also coming from a religious, background and belief in God, I had to do a lot of homework to make myself understand, like, what is it? Why is it ethical? How does it relate to loving? How does it relate to, relationship with the eternal and all that sort of stuff, and think of all that through. And that took me a while.
I was gonna say, man, that's a lot of steps to go down, especially coming from that, because you're just going, wow.
Well, I'm a very introspective person, intellectual, and I need my I need my brain and my emotions and that sort of stuff to agree with each other.
Right.
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 I'm really glad that you guys worked on that, because we stress that huge on the show, that this lifestyle isn't for everybody. This isn't a fix if you have problems or anything like that. This works best when you already have a very strong foundation.
Yes.
And so you guys obviously felt comfortable enough at some point to then invite Tom. So Tom, tell us, how do you identify?
What I always tell her is I'm hetero because I like women too much. It's not a distaste, but I definitely I love women, and I stick to that generally. Other than that, I'd say I'm pretty open for really. I've always been open. I've always been in relationships where the other partner isn't. So for me, this is a breath of fresh air too, because I don't have to be 80% of myself. I can be myself all the time and not say things that I want to do or I'm interested in because my partner won't be interested in them. So it's definitely a huge opening up to me to be in this, even though there's three of us, probably more rules, but no, it is, but it's good.
So were you in the lifestyle before?
No, I never was officially. Like I said, I've never been with anybody that's okay with it, even though mentally I'm okay with it. And I guess mentally I am in the lifestyle then if I'm okay with it, but I've never really, been in a situation where the other person is okay with it. So.
Were you practicing lifestyle choices
Non-ethically?
non-ethically before that?
Very slightly.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I know.
It's such a relief when you can finally just be honest.
Yeah.
And you don't have
it
to hide
definitely
anything.
is. And even in past relationships, I have been honest with people, and they can't even understand what I'm saying to them.
Right. Yeah. It's
They're
like
like,
you're
no, that's not, no, you don't mean that, right?
It's like you're speaking
Right.
a foreign language to them,
Yeah.
They don't even want to think about it as an option.
And really,
So-
it's because they have insecurities within themselves.
Exactly.
It's
and-
not that they wouldn't be open to it, because those are probably also the same people that are doing things non-ethically.
Well, yeah, and I ran into
Yeah.
that in past relationships where I knew they were doing extracurricular activities, but if I were to say anything about something like this, they would lose their mind.
Right.
Which is so crazy, right? Like, this is all consensual. This is all, everybody understands everybody's feelings,
Let's have our cake.
Yeah, but to do it behind somebody's back in society is just way more accepted,
Well,
Having
to have to deal with evolving myself to making it acceptable for myself, I really, I have a lot of empathy for people who can't, because we are so indoctrinated from children, like little children. You're watching cartoons. Every cartoon that has any kind of a romance involves an
Commercials,
exclusive
shows.
relationship.
Yep.
Correct.
And then you get a little bit older, and these days you don't have to get very much older at all, and there's breakups and cheating and like that, whether it's actual sexual or not, but it's just programmed into you. It's supposed to be exclusive, and if it isn't, something's wrong, right?
Right.
I hear my dad's voice saying things to me, like, a real man takes care of his woman and she doesn't need anybody else. Okay? What do you do with that? Right? That's something that's down deep inside me that, comes up at the ugliest times. And will throw you a curve, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm not okay with anything,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And so,
So, do you date anybody outside of the marriage?
right now I'm kind of like sort of dabbling, looking for someone. I was in a short-term relationship. It was kind of a dating thing, and it's kind of run its course, and so I'm not seeing anybody else right now actively, but I'm open.
Okay.
Okay. Are you seeing anybody else, Tom?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you seeing anybody else, Erin?
No.
No,
Not
okay.
anymore, just
Hey.
these two.
Nothing
Now-
wrong with that.
Are you guys also in the lifestyle? So, do you guys also, just have purely physical relationships
So-
together with other people?
Because of the current
COVID,
situation.
yes.
Yeah, like we used to go
Casual
to a
sex
lot
is
of
dead.
events and things like menage events, and we used to go to the ranch a lot. And so right now we're trying to figure that out, but we used to be me and Scott, we used to be very active, probably over
We
a
would
year
always
ago.
be together though.
Yeah, we were always together.
Until so
Brian has not gone to an event yet. I would be
I'm
very
kind of new
excited
to
to take him
Colorado
away.
too.
Tom.
Oh,
Kenneth.
Oh, this is
Kenneth,
going to be
thank you.
exciting for you. So, you've never been to the ranch?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
what?
wow.
So-
Oh my God.
interesting story about the ranch.
Okay.
That's the first time we went to the ranch is when we finally decided, we finally realized that there was a culture that we needed to be part of, the LS community,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
it's like that. And Jen was a big part of introducing us to that.
Oh, wow.
We're like I said, we were very slow. We were, only like, soft. We're going to observe it, like that, and open, get big. At one point, we're in the bathtub together, Erin and I, and she confesses to me. She says, I think if we don't open up to like solo dating, then I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried I might actually cheat on you.
Really? How come?
Well, I was getting a little worn out with the swinger events because I very much need to have like a connection with people. Because there were some parties we would go to, and we would play with these people, and then I would get depressed afterwards because I wouldn't hear from them.
Or-
And I would get-
And
Oh, okay.
it's so hard to like connect like that at swinger events with people,
yeah.
Because it's like, you want like something a little bit more deeper.
Or you think
know.
you've
Right.
connected, and then you find out you really haven't.
Right.
You know.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
lining up the rules, too. That's another hard thing.
Oh yeah, we tried to do couple dating, and that just never worked. We could never find a connection where all four
No,
people
it's-
were like okay
It's
with each other.
difficult.
Yeah, that's somewhere where my wife and I are at right now because every time we've done that, something has gone wrong, whether it be like the husband or the wife or something,
Yeah.
And so we've sort of found that it's easier right now to like connect with the single individual and
Right.
do something like you guys are doing, but
Mm.
we're still not
So-
out there because of the circumstances.
Right.
you
So-
know?
Right.
We were in the bathtub, and she said that, and it's like, okay, I just need to think about it. It's like, because it just hit me hard. And she immediately said, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean that. I would never cheat on you. I promise I didn't like that. And she just wanted to emphasize how strongly she was feeling this, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I start doing my homework, and I read books. I read the first book I read was Sex at Dawn, which does a really great job for setting a foundation for human beings. Did we evolve monogamously or not? What was it? And there's just a lot of really well put together evidence, and both from science and biology and sociology and that sort of stuff, to show a very strong that says doesn't look like it. Looks like monogamy started when agriculture started, when possessions started,
Mhm.
and inheritance became a huge part of, and so it had to be legalized and formalized because of the
Ownership.
and all of a
Ownership.
sudden we had
Mhm.
things to fight over, and so that's when it also started becoming a male-dominated society. That's what the evidence seems to show.
Correct.
So now I become, okay, intellectually I have to admit polyamory is something I need to consider.
Mhm.
So then I read the what's the name of the book? It's the Bible.
Oh,
The polyamory Bible. More Than Two.
Okay.
Yes.
Polyamory Bible.
Yeah, that's what that's what I've heard people call
I
it.
thought you were going to talk about the ethical slut.
That's
feel
what I was
that's the one
thinking.
that everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read that one yet.
Oh,
No,
okay.
and we've talked about reading, but we haven't read that one. No, I
Yeah.
read the More Than Two, and then I began to start
He read the
working on
Brainiac
myself.
ones first.
I began working myself to make myself comfortable with, doing the things that we were going to be doing, stuff like that. So like it was almost like a month later, we're in the bathtub again, and it comes up again, and I said, all right, well, let's try it. Let's like, and I said, but I'm going to warn you, I can't promise you I'm going to be okay with it all the way, as we go through it. I'm going to work, but I can't promise. And, an hour later, 1 hour later, she gets a phone call from a friend inviting her to show he's never been to the ranch. And she's going to go on a date, solo date, to the ranch. So, like, it's like, no time lapse. You're like, we're poly. Boom.
Hey, here's 10 feet of water, right? Sink or swim.
Well, if you
And
needed a sign, there you go.
Oh, well, she's so hot. I mean, she could get a date,
Come on,
wearing
you're hot too.
Yeah, whatever. So
Oh, I hear
anyway.
you. Yeah, I
So
hear you.
then
Yeah.
that was
Oh, yeah.
1 hour later. So how far along, Tom, then did you?
Oh
I was-
gosh.
Yeah,
Well, wait, hold on,
I don't
hold
know
on,
that
hold on.
part of the
Okay,
time
Yeah.
wait, hold
so
on,
you
hold
guys
on. I'm
have
so
been
sorry.
together for how many?
Oh,
how
man.
long? Sorry.
Maybe since July.
Yeah, since midsummer. So
Yeah.
about 7 months or something.
So the
Yeah.
first time,
about that.
because I was actually reviewing the message history to try and put the timeline together and stuff like that, the first time you mentioned sucking his dick was in March.
Oh, right at the beginning of COVID.
So
Like,
it's
The
been
first
a
time
year.
she mentioned,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
But she hadn't, so it's just
No.
talk at this point.
Yeah.
No, that was just talk, but that's how far, because she's a natural flirt with a lot of people, but she doesn't usually go that far. So I knew really early on that Brian was special to her. Like, that there was this thing, there was a connection happening and stuff. And it happened gradually, but it was definitely continuously progressing, and she wanted it too. And so,
So when it started with you guys, did it start? It doesn't sound like it started physical.
Well, yeah, we
No.
worked together, so
Oh.
we were coworkers, and we pretty much saved a dying business together. So it was kind of
We
like a
went
bonding
through
experience.
a lot of. We went through a lot of hell together.
Oh.
Emotional.
yes.
Like it was. Yeah, it was a
So,
lot.
bonding experience.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
yes.
Oh,
and then
wow.
COVID happened,
Right.
and it was, and Scott was not
right.
with
So
me. and I
backing
was-
up a little bit, yeah, I lost my job in the Springs in November of 2019. Got a job in Denver area.
He's the best house husband. Like I wish he could.
Oh,
be
she wished that I could
jobless.
just stay
like,
there and keep
seriously,
working,
I
but
wish
that
he
was-
could just be jobless. He
Right.
was one.
But so then I got a job, but it was in Denver, and so we got an apartment in the
In
near where my
Broomfield.
job was, and I was living there, so I could go to work because it was just too much of a drive back and forth, right?
Down
then-
to the
She
Springs,
had lots
down
of
to the
laundry
Springs.
to do
Right.
at this point.
And this is
so
in February, and then
My laundry
COVID hit.
pile was this high. He was gone.
And then COVID hit, and now all of a sudden I'm isolated in this apartment by myself.
Oh my god.
And she's afraid because I'm older, and she's afraid, like, we don't know how bad this is if I get it, and stuff
Right.
like that. So she doesn't even want to
This
visit
shit
me.
really freaked me out, guys. Like,
She doesn't even want to visit me because she's working with the public and doesn't want to infect
oh
me.
my
right?
god.
Yeah, our
So-
business stayed open, like, and we're like dealing with all of this crap, thinking it's like deathly, people are dying.
Oh yeah.
no
He
one
has
knows
lung
at that point,
issues.
right.
I
Yeah.
have lung issues. I was just like, oh my god.
Oh, and so
So-
what we didn't mention is that she was already in a very short-term relationship with somebody before I moved.
Before he moved.
So we put that on hold. She was willing to put that on hold
Because
because
I
I
didn't want
wasn't
him
going
to
to be
go
able to
through
deal
any
with that
turmoil.
emotionally
Right.
while
Oh
being
my
separated,
gosh.
right?
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I'm like
So-
that. I love that you mentioned that because people think that they've made this decision, whether or not they have, and then they've talked about it for a long time or not. Even if it's a quick decision, you can always change your mind. You can always put things on hold. You can always say, okay, and as long as you start with a good foundation, where usually one of our rules is, if you ever don't want to do this and things change, you come to me first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't divorce me because you think that this is, like, give me the option to
Right.
say,
Right.
I'm okay with that. Let's take
Yeah.
a step back. And so that part of it, that you can change your mind. Like, I know you listened to Sante and Vera's episode,
Mhm.
and the fact that right now they want to work just on their foundation. And so
Yeah.
they took a step back from the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love it when people mention that, because we get those questions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, just
Yeah.
because it
Well,
doesn't work out
yeah.
doesn't mean we're going to get
It
divorced.
doesn't
You
mean
wanna
you're in this
know-
for the rest of your life.
Right.
You
You
want
know.
to know that you're solid with your partner,
Mhm.
but you also need to consider that there's other people involved,
Mhm.
because you could I mean, you could potentially hurt the
Right.
other people if you have to just cut it.
Right.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and being poly really is a lot different than just being open or doing swinger things because they're in love.
That's
I
right.
Right.
see it.
That's right.
And they work together in our house. And I'm working now in the house. And so I'm in my office and I listen to them in the kitchen and they're giggling and they're talking and they do things like that. And they have all these things that they're bonding over, the business and all this other stuff. And I see this relationship growing. I see her excitement. Her face lights up when Brian walks in the room and that sort of stuff. And you got to deal with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking hard,
Right.
Yeah.
People think that jealousy doesn't exist. And you guys
in,
know
in a poly relationship,
Right.
but it still does.
it does.
Well, but intellectually, when you sit down, take the emotions out of it for a second, you think, why? Because if
It
you're
makes you
going to
really
invite a
look at
friend to a movie,
yourself.
having another friend come to the movie makes it more fun, right?
like-
It's like
It
You
makes
know,
why
what's
am
more-
I jealous?
what's
It makes you
cuter than
really
a
pick it
kitten?
apart.
2 kittens and add a puppy. It's like
But
I love animals.
you said it earlier. We've been programmed to like be each
Exactly.
other's enemy,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
and I'm
Right.
supposed to look at him as like somebody I'm supposed to
Competition,
fight
each
with,
other,
and like
yeah.
Right, society, and
Yeah.
especially like a male to male. I tell her all the time, I can talk to a female like it's
Yeah.
nothing, but trying to connect to another male is really hard
Yeah.
because every male is trained to like put up this wall right away.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, oh, who are you? What? Yeah, and question like, why are you talking to me?
what do
Right.
you want from
What
me?
do you want from me? And you want something from me
Yeah.
because you're talking to me.
Mhm.
And
Right.
it's like, dude, I don't want anything from you. I just want to know who you are.
yeah.
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 So
It makes it an uphill struggle for
Yeah.
people like us that just want to make connections and
Not
not deal with all the BS.
Yeah. Whereas like with women, they are always there to like compliment each other and, hey girl, I like this. Oh, cool. And now
but-
all of a sudden everything's
but
bonding.
when
you
they've
know?
wronged each other,
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
I was
That's
thinking that
the way.
too. Drag each other down.
Yes.
Shit.
Oh,
do
yes.
not, do not
Yes.
try and help because it is war.
I'm not one of those. by
But
the
but
way.
what's
Me
funny is,
either. Yeah. I know.
like in a vanilla situation, vanilla clubs and stuff like that. That's how it always is.
Yeah.
You were trained and programmed to be that way,
Right.
and women are trained to,
My
this
goodness,
girl.
yes, it's so weird going into clubs that aren't like
Yeah.
LS friendly now.
Yes.
It's like,
Oh my
so
gosh.
weird for
yeah, I
me.
have to fend for myself.
Right.
Oh my
and
God.
get this
It's so weird for me, even
child
just
off
to
my
be,
leg.
Right?
even just to be in public. Like, you see our location. So we're
Mhm.
walking up and down the 16th Street Mall. Like it's, I love people watching, and I love.
Yeah,
And
it's the best.
we'll see another couple coming towards us, and right away she's making sure that her man
Is
isn't
not
checking
looking at
at
you.
me, or I'm not looking at her man, when the whole time I'm checking her out, and I'm like, I just want to talk to you, but you're so concerned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so
Right.
awkward that people get that jealous that even if a guy is walking down the street, and it's happened before, I'll accidentally blurt out, "Oh my God, I love your shirt," and his girlfriend or wife or whoever female is with him
no.
is like, and I'm
Right?
like, dude, okay, I'm not attracted to this guy at all. I'm sitting here with my husband on my arm, like.
That has
I just like
happened
a
to
shirt.
me an awful lot because I'm so free speaking and
Right.
free spirited. People take it the wrong. Vanilla people take it the wrong way.
Right.
Like
And
I've
it's like
had
it's a
issues
flirt.
at children's parties. Like I'm
Right.
like, and I'm there with my kids, and I'm like, I'm not even like, yeah.
They think it's a flirt right away when you're just
Yeah.
like, dude, take a compliment.
Mm.
Mhm.
Shut the fuck up and take a compliment.
And
Yep.
I think, going back to what you said, when you guys realized that you loved the culture and the lifestyle and you wanted to be part of that, that's a big thing of it, is that the communication that you have, even with our lifestyle friends that we don't play with, we still talk to them about so much more stuff, and we're still open, and they know
Mhm.
exactly our intent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing hidden like when you go to a vanilla setting.
When we first stepped into it, I thought, oh, this is heaven. Look at all these people being open and honest and ethical with each other. And then you find out a little while, oh, well, they're actually human beings, and they're not always so nice and ethical and things like that.
They're still
And a lot of
cheating.
times,
Right?
Still
one of the big
happens.
keys, there's a morality issue to being poly, and there's if you think about, can you love more than one person? That's actually the easy part. The hard part is, can you let your partner love more than one person?
Right.
That's the test. That's the real thing. And it's the hypocrisy that's so evident inside of us that you know, we're willing to forgive ourselves and as long as we call it sin,
Right.
right? But if we say it's open, then somehow because I come from a very strong religious background. I didn't grow up very religious, but in my middle years, my 20s through 50s,
Oh wow.
oh, you don't know how old I am. Sorry.
I thought you were 21. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I was
Whoa.
very religious. I actually went to seminary for several years, and I was very into it, and so I very much studied thing. And one of the things I was kind of like really struggling with, they have this term in a lot of churches called biblical marriage. And what they mean by that, the definition of biblical marriage is one man, one woman for life. And then I want to say, if that's the biblical definition of marriage, then how come almost nobody in the Bible actually lived that way? Nobody in the Bible was monogamous,
Right.
except for a very few, and then there was a few who had no sex at all. But
They had
that's
a lot
it.
of freaky things happening in the Bible, like a lot.
Yes.
It's just-
If it was so important to God, then how come he didn't address it to the people who were doing it? Why didn't he say, how can he say to David, King David, there is a man of God, a man after my own heart, who had multiple affairs and had men killed in order to cover it up?
Right.
Right? So it's hypocrisy. And it comes down to every institution, once it's established, becomes about surviving itself. You know, you see it right now in politics. It's more important to be a Democrat, a faithful Democrat, than it is to be a faithful congressman, right? Or a Republican. Right? You stick to your party, not what's good for the United States. It's good for your party.
Right.
Right. But it's because the party exists.
And yourself.
Yeah.
The party wants to stay existing.
Yes.
It's power.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, you said it perfect. You know, because you're sticking to your party. You're not doing what's right for society. You know,
You're
and
doing
which
what's
is,
right.
So what changed my
overall,
thinking,
Like,
what-
because
and what I
you're
wanna-
not, you're being ethical about it now.
Yeah, part of the reason I'm bringing this up is I really want to be helpful to other people who have got a religious background and struggle with, because they still want to have a connection. They feel like there's a God out there, but they can't connect it to their life. Is I stopped trying to do what's right, because when you're trying to do what's right, it's a pride thing. You're trying to actually tell God that I'm good enough, that's why you should love me, because I'm good enough, right? And instead of trying to do what's right, do what's loving. And that will change your thinking about things and center you on what motives are and that sort of stuff. It's a whole lot better way of dealing with things. And so the reason why I'm poly, the biggest reason I'm poly, is because I love her and she needs to be. I don't even know if I do need to be,
wow, but that's something that she needs.
Yes.
And you're okay with that.
I am okay with that.
Yeah.
So was there certain things for you that you weren't getting in the relationship, or was it more that you just like having another partner and feel more comfortable when it's on a level of a relationship?
I feel like individuals can offer different things to various people.
Correct.
So like some of our strengths that we have in common, I might not have in common, with Tom.
right.
Or certain strengths that Tom have, I probably don't have in common with Ken. So it's kind of fulfilling your needs. Like people can offer you different things, whether it's knowledge or skills or crafts, arts,
Right.
entertainment. Like it's just everybody's different. So I feel like you can get something from everybody. That's why I love meeting new people too. And it doesn't have to be sexual either.
Right.
Just
you know.
just a chance to connect with somebody
Yeah,
that you can
just
connect with.
connecting and like
you know?
You were
yeah.
reading my mind as you said that, because our best friends are in a poly relationship, and I would say the boyfriend and husband are best friends.
Yeah.
And so do you guys have a non-sexual platonic relationship with each other at this point?
It's growing.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because he is like two of my three best friends like mixed into one.
Wow.
So he's like all the qualities of two people I've been friends with since I was a little kid. So it is very strange that he's that person.
That's so cool.
But I think Brian's a kind of a slow to trust person, and I'm gaining his trust little by little. It's definitely growing. One of the things the reason I like this is he's really good for Erin. She thrives under like the way he's teaching her to cook. They're running this cannabis hobby that they doing all these different kinds of confections and pastries and stuff like that. And he's an actual chef, and she's learned. But the way he teaches really fits with her because she's easily discouraged,
Okay.
right? And he has a technique for being able to, and it's just wonderful to watch. And
I'll
they
just give you a
laugh.
small example.
And they have common music interests and other kinds of things that,
I'm not very much a morning person anymore. I used to be, and like Scott kind of is. Like he'll wake up with birds chirping, and I like
Scott.
kill.
That's
I don't
really-
need to kill
the
the
thing is, I'm a
birds,
night owl too.
but
I can do both too. Heck yeah.
and then Brian's kind
very
of on
rare
the same page with
that
not being
you
a
can do
morning
both.
person. Like we both wake up in the morning, like it's coffee.
I opened a
like,
bakery at 4 a.m. for like 6 years, so no, I'm not interested in waking up.
That's
early
just-
that
that's
means
just
that
a
means you
small
have to be there at
example,
4
though.
Yeah,
a.m.
be there at 4 a.m.
So, you guys have been together now since March, you said?
Well, that's when I think she started first noticing she had feelings for him. She didn't want to admit it and stuff like that, but it was happening.
We've lived together as a throuple for the past 3 months.
Right.
Okay.
He started coming
So-
though. There was things where he needed a place to stay, and he was staying at, and that was hard too because I was still here and they were in,
That makes it
in the
sound
Springs.
so funny.
And
He
Oh,
needed
he
a
was
staying
place
at the
to
house.
stay, so we took him in.
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
He
you
had
were some.
places to go, but yes.
We'll put it this way: I got out of a crappy relationship and I got into a good one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Woo!
Nice.
So you guys
Nice.
for 3 months now officially live under the same roof and
Right.
all work under the same roof.
right.
Yes.
So you guys are together like
All
24/7.
the time. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you,
awesome.
Corona.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's actually been kind of an issue that we've been talking about is trying to figure out how to balance this because we didn't really do like a throuple dating kind of thing like that. We
Yeah.
just jumped right in. Like some people jump into the deep end. We jumped into like fast-moving currents rushing us out to sea, and we're, one of the things Erin and I were talking about were we need some alone time. We don't, because Brian's always there.
Right.
Mhm.
Right? Not that that's bad. I like Brian. Brian's funny. He's entertaining. He makes delicious food. He does a lot of the stuff around the house that I don't have time to do because I'm working right now
Right.
full time and stuff like. And so that's cool. But sometimes I want to be the center of attention.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. It's not an easy job.
Oh, I
being in
know.
the middle
Oh,
of
no.
a throuple.
Oh, yeah. We saw.
We know it.
see.
Poor
You have to.
thing.
Yeah. You have to juggle, but you have to juggle a lot of stuff. You have to juggle emotions and time,
I
and
see it.
space and personal space.
So-
And oh yeah.
My best friend, Molly, you guys know Molly. When I watch her, people at first when they hear, they're like, "Oh my god, you have a boyfriend and a husband and
yes.
another boyfriend? Oh my god." And
I had to see Molly's house when she told me.
Right.
I was like, what?
and then I'm like, but listen, like this is a lot of work. She'll literally have to
Mhm,
jump and make sure she's, giving enough attention to everybody and that everybody's on the same page and not feeling left out or not feeling, I guess, that their needs aren't all being met is the best
Yes.
way to put it.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of balancing. It requires scheduling date nights. It requires, taking trips without, solo trips. It takes a lot
It
of
does.
that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
moving of energies, and if you see one person is suffering,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna try to focus on them, and then you're like, oh wait,
Right.
the other person's like not getting
Yeah.
enough
I would
down.
not recommend the way we did it to anybody else.
Right.
No,
Yeah, that
I
works
don't know
for
if
you
there's
guys.
a right
Yeah.
way though.
we
There
we,
isn't.
we jump in
It's-
with the sharks. That's the kind of where we are. We just like we So I've been reading some really good things like about detangling and stuff like that. Some stuff we should have worked on sooner, like the idea that you go out not on a date necessarily, but you just go out by yourself and do something, right?
Right.
And come back and you don't have to say what you did. You just went and did something, right? And that
Mhm.
kind of stuff is starting to detangle and decouple from each other so that you can give each other that breathing space and freedom and realize they're not going away kind of thing. It's like I don't have to know everything they're doing every second of the moment of the time.
And that's healthy in any relationship,
Yeah.
whether it's poly or monogamous. You really need to take that time for yourself and have a break. And
I think it's important to hold on to your individuality for
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you're a mother, if you're a wife,
right.
if you're juggling all these, it's important to know who you are and what you want. And you,
No, I've always been like extremely independent. It's been a problem in my relationships because they want me to be more dependent, and I'm just not. Now is probably the first time where I'm like, please give me more attention. Please crowd me a little bit more, because I'm used to like being just, whoa, let me breathe a little bit. I'm gonna go with my friends over here. You don't have to follow me, and that's what I'm used to. So it's not. I am very independent, and this is more forgiving for that.
So how about now, moving in with these guys, coming from like the outsider's perspective, do you still find yourself like, hey, Erin, give me more time, especially being together 24/7, or are you still like, hey, I'm gonna skip out and go hang out with my friends, and
It's been hard because of the COVID has really put on, and she really likes my friends, it seems. So
that's funny.
and he's met my friends, so I have a lot of friends out of state too that they haven't met yet, but at some point they will. So
yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
So at this point, the relationship's kind of new. But do you still have other partners that you would like in the future? Is that?
Yeah, no, I definitely will. It's just, it's with the move and everything, there's a lot of stuff going on. And with me personally, I've just been dealing with a lot of stuff, so I haven't really been looking that extensively. But it's definitely something. I mean, and I also like the idea that it gives them more time together, and takes pressure off of her if I'm dating other people, even if they're just like, short-term dating or whatever. At least it's like something that I have that's not part of this relationship. Not that, I regret any of this, but I want to make sure they can still have what they've had. I don't want to infringe on them, and that's definitely a good way to do it, and it's a good way to fulfill other parts of me, because that's part of the reasons why I always wanted to do it, is because I never get fulfillment from one partner. I never get enough of a connection that I'm like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm good,
Right.
So
Okay.
no, I definitely think it's something I'll be more into as COVID restrictions decline and stuff. So
Good stuff. All right. Our next question was going to be,
Our family
families.
family dynamics.
Family
Yeah.
dynamics.
Yeah.
How does this go?
So, I would like to say we are
Yeah. So
raising
all
my
four
four children.
Biologically, all 4 children are Erin's.
Okay.
Yes.
So you guys have no children together?
Together, no.
Okay.
No. I have 2 grown children in another state.
Okay.
All right. But and so we've been together, and
So
I
under the
help
house,
raise.
we have 3 of them. My oldest moved to Missouri with their partner, and they have told me they're non-binary this past year. So that's that's a new thing for me, and I'm very open.
Right.
I love all of my non-binary friends, and I'm very accepting. But I'm trying to get used to like the right pronouns.
Right.
Right? You never
So
know.
am I.
It's
And I
really hard.
I think people in that community are a lot less judgmental than we need, because I'm always super cautious and worried I'm going to say the wrong thing or use the wrong pronoun.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more like, don't worry, now you know, and so it'll be easy.
Right.
But sometimes you just have to ask at this point, like, what do you prefer?
Yes.
Exactly. And I
Right.
feel like maybe we're all non-binary. I don't know. But really,
So you had no idea before they came out to you?
no. It was all honestly my oldest was kind of not being open about their emotions and everything, kind of going through depression. I was very concerned. And it was kind of a big surprise because they had somebody in their back pocket they wanted to introduce to us.
Wow.
So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
wow, that's like the rug pulled out from
yeah, it
underneath
was
you,
like
right?
it was a couple days before they had their person fly out to meet us. Like, by the way, I'm having a friend come out and visit. Not a gay friend, just a friend, Mom, I promise. Just a friend. And then I was like, there's more to this, and found out, like, actually it was somebody they were very interested in, had been talking to on the internet, now they've been together for maybe a year and a half now. So
It's
So
been
this
that
was
long?
before the
Yeah.
throuple.
Wow.
yes.
But did they know already? Have you shared with your kids
No,
that you were
I
in
have
the
to
lifestyle?
tell you guys my. So there's only one of my children that knows.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's because they live with us, and it's my 17-year-old. So, we tried to like play it like, oh, Tom's a roommate.
Right. A
Oh
friend.
Yeah.
man.
He's a very close member of the family, but we would like cuddle on the
and
couch
technically
yeah.
he is.
and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And
I mean, he has his own bedroom. He actually has the whole basement, and he pays rent, and so technically he is a roommate. We're not lying.
Right.
right, but Tom's very much a part of the family.
Right.
I mean,
and he's
he
great with the kids.
does everything with us. Eats dinner, makes food for us, like
Right.
plays ping pong with my 11-year-old, like is very much
Lots of
involved.
ping
The
pong.
11-year-old has
Awesome.
so much energy. We need 3 adults to keep him occupied. He's,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's nonstop.
So we very much appreciate the fact that Tom is so involved
Yep.
with the family.
That's awesome.
But it's just hard, you guys. Like a lot of my friends are completely open. Like Molly, she's open with her whole family. She
Mhm.
doesn't care. I'm taking baby steps because my kids have been raised to
And that's
for
okay.
like we're monogamous. Like
Yeah.
it's just
So yeah, you say that as well. So
Yeah.
everybody knows that we have 5 boys, and their age.
Boys,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're a blended family. So
Cool.
I had 3, she had 2, and they just so happened to be fit in each other's like individual years. So it's like now
awesome.
at the end of the years, they go all in a row. And so now they're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh shit! When are you guys
Yeah.
starting the band?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right.
we play
or
rock
the
band.
T.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
do. We do. And everybody has to rotate. But yeah, and so they were raised and to be monogamous, until we started opening up and becoming okay with, this as a whole. It's okay. Everybody does stuff behind closed doors, But
Mhm.
we wanted our kids to have more knowledge about this type of situation.
Yeah,
It's okay if you want to have, multiple partners.
Yeah.
It's okay if you want to be with somebody the same sex as you.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's
Well, and we-
great. I've had
As
those
long as-
conversations with my kids too.
Mhm.
Like, you
Right.
don't have to get married. You don't have to stay with one partner. You can be gay,
Doesn't have to
bisexual.
be a different sex, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I have not covered the poly aspect, and like,
But
I
it's
really
like
need to do that.
interesting because they're not don't seem judgmental at all.
Right.
They're like, okay, well, there's somebody else who makes us food. There's somebody else who plays with us.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool.
That's
I
how
don't
my
care.
kids
And
are.
that's
I like-
especially true of the
But they're-
11-year-old. The 11-year-old doesn't care. He's just more fun. The
Right.
the 13-year-old, I think, I get little clues that like she's kind of curious about some stuff, but she's not curious enough to ask.
Mhm.
You know.
I just felt like my 17-year-old was ready
Yeah.
to
Right.
hear it.
Oh, yeah.
And
And as a parent,
he was not surprised. He was like, I already knew.
right.
Like, come on,
Oh,
you
I know.
idiot.
Definitely give kids like less credit than what they're
Well,
there
and-
for.
and
You know.
I'm not-
Exactly,
when he
yeah.
said when he said he already knew, I'm kind of thinking like, well, duh, because she, like I said, it's very clear how she feels about Brian.
Mhm.
It's not anybody walking it. I don't think anybody goes off and confused and saying like, I wonder if she likes him.
Huh.
Right. And the biggest thing is, like, we have 5 kids. Nobody ever questions if I love all 5 of them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I bring
Yeah,
that up
I love
often.
both
yeah.
my parents. Nobody
Yeah.
questions. you know,
Yeah.
And my parents are divorced, so I have 2 sets of what I consider parents. Nobody questions that.
Mhm.
And so why would you question, that I love 2 partners? That's one of those things that I think makes it easier for us to explain to the kids is like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
we
I
love
think it's
each
a
other.
social question when we often look at it as a sexual question.
Right.
Like it's the social interaction. It's not about the sex.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that's
Right.
what everybody, especially in the way our society's constructed, that's what they
That's
think
what they
of.
Yeah.
worry about.
Is it going to be socially acceptable?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't even see the benefits of now these children essentially have 3 parents that are there, that are helping, that are cooking, that are, enriching their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge. It's not a downfall by any
And the
means.
biggest reason I want the kids to be like aware and knowing is just so that they can start picking up on how do you deal with things like envy and FOMO and that sort of stuff. Because it's
FOMO
real
is a
stuff.
huge
And,
deal,
and
right?
adults have
Oh,
trouble
right.
dealing with it. And
Yeah.
give them a foundation. Give them the tools to kind of go off and first off say, don't judge that relationship as being wrong or right. Judge it by whether or not it's working for you.
Right.
You know, I don't know. There's just, we need to normalize this kind of relationship if we're ever going to have a lot of success with it. Because my biggest sadness right now about the lifestyle is I see too many couples who think they're poly and they think they're all set up, and then they enter in the relationship, and what they really are is they're more serial monogamous, right? As soon as they start having real feelings for somebody,
Then
they start
lock it in.
reverting to a more of a monogamous kind of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's what's been programmed into us.
Right.
And then all of a sudden everything starts getting hard and not working because
NRE. You're
Na-
just like, oh my God, this is my person.
Right.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That NRE is like, oh man, it's a killer sometimes.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
new relationship energy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The new
Mhm.
relationship
Yeah, but I mean,
energy.
even those, and FOMO is, a fear of missing out, and that sort of stuff. These are all, things that are emotional that you have to deal with yourself. But then there's other things that are real, like you are spending more time with this other person than you are with me because you work with them, and that involves driving, doing all this other stuff, and I get only this amount of your time, and you're tired, right?
Right.
We need to work on that. Okay,
Right.
that's not a I need to work on my emotional stability. That's a practical. We have to work that out. I'm jealous because
Right.
I should be, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of time just taking that step back and thinking about the situation before you want to react. Before you want to go, you're going to do what? Without me? Where? What?
Yeah.
Huh? With who? And
Well-
so, it's
Yeah.
taking that step back and going, okay, would I be this insecure about it if I take my emotions out of it and understand that I don't need to be there necessarily?
Right.
I've been telling her whenever she's going to spring something on me, give me 15 minutes before you ask for my reaction, because the Pavlovian thing that's programmed into us, right? That's instant, that
Mhm.
first reaction, and then I don't know, give me a chance to work myself through it, and it's getting faster, to get my head right and that sort of stuff, and say, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that, right?
Right.
But it's not like I said, the Pavlovian, I call it that way because it's a knee-jerk thing that happens. It's programmed into you.
Oh yeah. So now it's 15 minutes. You said that's come down a little
Oh,
bit.
15 minutes. Yeah, it
so-
used to be give me a week,
Yeah. There you go. See. Yeah.
Oh, and I go through my things too. I go through jealousies and things because when we first started deciding that we were poly and we're going to date separately,
Mhm.
I was the one that was all like gung-ho. I was like, whatever, I can handle anything. I know we're solid. Like,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
When he went on his first date, he was like out. Oh my God, I didn't realize how hard it would be for me.
Really?
For real, yeah.
Especially if you're not busy at that time.
I wasn't busy.
Right.
I didn't
She was
make sure
actually
I was.
sick.
If
She was
you're just
actually
sitting
homesick.
there,
I didn't want to go on
yeah.
the date. I wanted to stay home and take
I
care
made
of her.
him go, but I was like very sick. I had the flu. I even had to go to the hospital or something, but because I was dehydrated. But that's besides the point. I was just like, whatever, I'm fine. I like pushed him out the door. I was like, just fucking go. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, because I wanted him to have that experience. Because I had
Right.
the experience I had at the ranch without him.
Mhm.
And I wanted him to have that experience. And like, I didn't realize how gut wrenching or hard it would be. You really have to go through those emotions.
Right.
And I feel like it really forces you to look inward to yourself. Like,
Mhm.
why am I insecure? Why am I having this reaction? Why do I feel like he's just gonna up and leave me for some chick he meets at a menage
Oh,
party?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
I believe it.
yeah.
Oh, man.
it's
And
just,
so, how long after her first date did you go on yours?
That would be about a month and a half.
Okay.
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 Yeah, your first date to the ranch, I think, was middle of July,
yeah.
right? And the party that I went to was the end of August.
Yeah.
So do you guys primarily meet people online? Is that how you usually do it?
So
Wait.
I just want to say, like, once I found like the underbelly of the lifestyle and like all the really unique, cool
Parties
like individuals that were on my level,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't that hard to find dates
Right.
at all because then I knew people.
Right.
But before that, before we actually were introduced to the lifestyle, I think we would go to strip clubs. We ended up we went to Monchalet. Are we allowed to say that?
Monchalet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Monchalet.
That's
Yeah,
so
that
funny.
was
And
our
then-
first. That was our first LS experience together. Was Monchalet.
Ours too.
That is so
Really?
funny because we hear that from a lot of people.
We
They're
hear
like,
a lot of
oh
people
yeah,
in-
you know.
When people ask me about it, besides the fact that it's a swingers like that, it's just imagine the '70s threw up,
Right.
and then
the
let
shag
it get
carpet.
old.
yeah, yeah.
But
there's-
if you want like a
it's
good
some-
experience, like I suggest at least trying it out for a night.
If you go with
Right,
people,
like-
I always say, if you're going to go there, go with someone you know,
Right.
right? Maybe you just want to watch and observe, whatever like that. But you know, have somebody that you know that's going to be there with you. Don't expect to hook up with others there. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't.
no expectations.
Right.
No
Right.
expectations.
Yeah,
Just
then-
people start getting
wouldn't
those, and then they
recommend
have then they
You
get
can't
let
be
down.
disappointed,
Right.
right?
You know?
Then you're like, if anything happens, you're happy.
It was weird because our first one, we were like, oh man, this is this place, and they do this, and ooh, okay.
Right.
And so like we sort of got like this in our head, like okay, you know, everybody goes there and they do this, and then we got there and we were like, huh, okay. Like we met another couple and we were talking to them, and it was just like, yeah, nothing was gonna go there. You
But
know,
we
Yeah,
still
Like-
had
like,
fun.
you know, but
Talking.
yeah, and then, and looking and you know
Yeah.
talking to other couples, and
Oh,
it was
it's the
just
best
like,
people to people watch.
Yeah.
Best
Right?
place to people watch.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, the
exactly.
individuals-
I've seen so many interesting things there.
Yeah.
So Tom,
We-
Yeah.
The second time we went,
Uh-huh.
two things happened that were cool. One was there was a couple who had, as they were leaving, let us know that they were interested in us,
Oh.
and kind of stuff like that. And that was kind of fun because I'd never had that happen. And they came up to me because she'd actually left to go get a drink at the room. It's like that. And so the female came up to me, and so it was kind of like, okay, my head's now big. And but then we decided that Sunday that we to try out the matinee. And for those who don't know, the matinee is like this Sunday afternoon kind of thing where you don't have to be staying at the hotel. But so we
Right.
decided we do a late checkout, do the matinee. We showed up. Maybe sometimes it's different. This particular time, we walk into the pool area, and there's 7 guys just standing around
oh no.
doing nothing but looking, waiting for something to happen. And so
Oh no.
we look at each other and we decide like, okay, whatever, what the hell, so we get in the pool. We get naked, we get in the pool, we're getting frisky, we're having fun, and they're all kind of like watching and it's like that. And I get this idea in my head. It's like, what the hell? Let's put on a show. So
Right.
I pick her up and we carry her over to that bed that's nearby.
Uh-huh.
It's like that, and all the guys follow us, and they're all just like, and I, you know, and we fuck, and one guy starts to get a little bit close, and I just kind of shake my finger at him, and he backs off. Everybody was polite, you know. So yeah, we did a little porn show for, and I guess I do have some exhibitionism because that's still one of my favorite hottest
yeah,
memories.
me too. Very much so. Very much.
It's fun. It's freeing.
Yeah.
The whole part of the exhibition, being in a place for me, the first time just naked in the pool like that, and just, I mean, it does so much for a woman and their confidence, and it didn't matter. There was women of all sizes there, all shapes,
Yes.
all ethnicities, and that's what I absolutely love about a lot of the LS community. It's really accepting.
Yeah.
Yep.
it's fun.
So, Tom, have you ever been to any of the lifestyle
No, I
clubs?
haven't. Like I said, I'm pretty new to Colorado, so I
Right.
am to the lifestyle here, obviously. So,
So, and did you have anybody that you knew prior to them that was in the lifestyle or poly?
when like many years ago, I've known several people that have been, but I've never been involved with those people. They've been friends and acquaintances and stuff. So I've definitely known people who have, but never
Dabbled
So
in it
this
yourself.
whole thing is
Oh.
so new to you then.
Mhm.
Wow. So how do you go about navigating it then and learning, like,
I don't know.
learning about
I'm
it?
like super open about things, and
Uh-huh.
oddly enough, I think some of it I had a super conservative like childhood.
Oh wow.
All Lutheran schooling that I was forced to go to.
Oh
and
wow.
And the interesting thing is what I took from that is the words they say are the right words, like the love, the caring, the family, all
Mhm.
these things that are what make a strong, good, happy society. And then the actions didn't match that. And I would see people manipulate, even pastors manipulate people in the church to get what they wanted.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it was very disappointing. And that's kind of what made me think, well, we know these things are right. We know they're the way to make people happier, to love people, not to judge them. What if I actually practiced that?
Right.
And that's the way I got uninvolved with the church and uninvolved with all those things because of the people in it ruin the experience. So I those ideals, I'm not saying the religion itself, but those ideals is how I try to look at things, and it definitely makes all of this okay, because it's not about any of the bad things. It's about love. It's about supporting each other. It's about bringing each other up. So that's kind of why it's weird that conservativeness is what makes me very open-minded, because it did show me both the good things to that side and the ugly flaws it has.
Oh man.
Right.
How old were you when you figured that out?
Too young.
Too young.
Too young. I was probably 15, 16 or something.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'd already had thoughts about it, but my parents pretty much ran the church. My mom always got the new pastors. My dad was the head deacon. So it was
wow, and
pretty immersive.
So to see that and, realize that had to be really stunning to you, going against your same, morals and everything else.
Yeah, and what's interesting is as I got older, I see that my mother sees the hypocrisy in the system, but is the strongest supporter of it. Was, the Sunday school teacher, did everything.
Huh.
And God bless her for it. She thought she could win that battle, that she could change people's hearts by being the good person there. And yeah, she did some good and she changed some minds, but she also got abused a lot for it. And, people just didn't treat her well, respect her for what she did.
Right.
Because they're always looking to manipulate, and that wasn't her game.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah.
So does she know about?
No.
Okay. Does any of your family know?
Not my immediate family. All my friends back home know. My brother knows, and they don't seem to care at all. None of them are. None of them ever have been. But my parents is a whole nother nut to crack.
Oh,
so.
I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Especially coming from that really religious background.
Yeah.
Wow.
My
that
dad just
generation.
passed a few
for
months
sure.
ago,
Oh, I'm sorry
and
to
so
hear that.
I don't have any parents left. I have a stepmom who's a very religious Christian like that, and she doesn't know. But most of my family, they don't really know what we're doing. They've already ostracized me just for getting a divorce and getting remarried. So
wow.
yeah. So knowing more. And we've dabbled in some other things that were kind of like, oh, how dare you? I thought you were a Christian. It's like, I don't think God cares about this,
Yeah.
I don't think
Right.
he does either.
Right.
Because I am a Christian. I am a believer. But I don't think, I think what's happened is like I said before the interview, institutions become interested in their own survival. No matter how they were started or why they were started, they become interested in their own survival, and survival is more than just existing. It has to grow, and especially if they have influence, then people with ambition are going to be attracted to that influence, that power, and that's going to include corrupting the power to become used for other things. And so you see, it's not good enough to be a Christian. Are you a Lutheran? Are you a Catholic? Are you a Pentecostal? All those different things. It's like, well, why are we doing that? And then they get all very picky and anal about wording of things that they don't really understand. And they
Right.
pretend, but it's natural for humans to crystallize on a thought pattern because it's easy. It's low energy. Being open-minded, like I see Brian being, living with him. I see how well it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy because you can't make rules that are just hard and fast rules. Like our poly relationship, one of your questions I saw before the thing was, do we have boundaries, rules, whatever? Everything's kind of a compassionate negotiation because...
And how does that work between all three of you, or first starting with you and then the discussion?
Right now, primarily, I don't have anything that I need Brian to give me permission for or anything like that kind of
Right.
stuff. And Brian's more of a friend. I'm not in love with Brian. He's part of the family,
Right.
right? But no, for me, it's like I negotiate with Erin.
Okay.
And I think I forgot to call you Tom. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
Tom, yeah. And Tom and I are getting closer and like that. And we're getting honesty and some like they're getting some depth and stuff talking about our real feelings and that sort of stuff. But I think it's a little bit harder for both of us because, just trusting
And it's new
another guy.
for both of you.
Yeah.
And have you guys been in a relationship with somebody else before Tom?
Just
yeah,
shortly.
She was.
Just shortly.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
Oh,
concurrent with
And-
Tom, I had a short-term
Short-term
relationship.
as well. Wow. So this is all really new.
So how do you navigate it with your family? I mean, we've talked about your kids.
Yes. So I'm not really close to my family. Like my parents, they're not really gypsies, but I say they are because they both traveled a lot.
Okay.
Different directions. They didn't stay together. My dad didn't raise me, so I don't really talk to him very much. So I don't really tell him any intimate details
Right.
about my life. And my mom, I hold at an arm's length
And she has to.
I have to, because we have a really strained relationship. So for me, it's not as difficult. That's why I was like, sure, let's use my real name. Let's do everything. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
So, but I need to be respectful.
No, absolutely.
I have to
'cause you have
be
two other
respectful
people
of my
that you have to make up.
partners.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right.
and they're like, to me, I'm ready to be open. Like, yeah.
So do you think that next step would be then when the other two children are ready, sharing that with
Yes,
them?
absolutely. So when I say I'm ready, I'm not
Yeah,
totally.
I think that'll be. I think that's the major milestone when we had the
I
conversation
need
with
to
the
say I
with the
need to
two
be able to
youngest,
talk to my children.
then we
They
can
are
go
the
ahead and be
important
transparent to
ones.
everybody.
So
Okay.
yeah.
And it's hard to know what age. And I don't think that there's, because I get to ask this question, like, well, you told your kids. When we told our kids, we told them all together. So they were, a span of 5 years different. But we knew that they were all, we knew that they were all ready. They, even though we had I guess
But
at that time, an
he would've been-
11-year-old.
He would have been 11. But
and
yeah, an 11 and 12-year-old. And what's so funny is those two got it more. And then you have like the middle one who just laughs uncontrollably
The whole time.
because he could not get it. Like he just couldn't wrap his mind around it right away. He was just like, "So wait a second, you guys like do that with other people?"
right.
And we're like, "Yeah, and we're gonna go talk about it on a podcast." And he's just like,
Yeah.
Then once they understood. Now,
But I
again,
think more than the sex part, though, the thing is like the kids watch shows like cartoons and everything that has a model of a monogamous kind of exclusive
My daughter
relationship.
loves Riverdale, and they have polyamorous relationships in that
Well,
show.
no, they have a lot of cheating relationships. In
Oh,
there,
do
not
they?
polyamorous,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
It's a lot
okay.
of,
See, yeah, society's okay with it.
See, that's the thing is,
Polyamory.
but imagine if you could talk with like even a young child, like and they just watched Bugs Bunny fall in love with Mrs. Bunny and something like that, and you could say, and maybe Mrs. Bunny has another Bugs Bunny too, like and just let that be like a thought that the kids can entertain and say that can happen, right?
Or like Riverdale. It would be okay if they had couples like that on there or some sort of situation because then you're targeting these teens or tweens or whatever. I've never seen it, but and that way it gives them like okay, that can happen. And
Right.
that's okay.
I mean, we're doing that with LGBTQ kind of stuff. All the things are indoctrinating kids, and maybe you have two moms, maybe you have two dads. Maybe,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What if you had two moms and three dads?
Yeah, a little community?
Yeah.
and I think too, just them knowing that not every relationship is cookie cutter. It's okay, and knowing what the key points in any relationship are. Communication is obviously very important, especially now that there's 3 of you.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the biggest problems we see in poly is that, we'll see somebody remember to tell one partner, but to forget to tell the other partner. And then they're like, wait, what? We have plans? We're doing what? I didn't know anything about this. And it's really easy to get confused. So you almost have to be extra cautious and double checking. Or having a 3-way chat or things like
Check
that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
check in.
We need to confirm that the person you talked about something. Did they understand that you were committing to it? Because sometimes it's like, oh, we're doing this. Oh, I thought we were just talking about it. We aren't doing it. Like,
Right.
oh, we're doing it. Okay. It's like, and then they get like, you don't listen to me.
Or committing or their interpretation of it. Maybe they think something completely different. And it's like, hey, what did you get from this?
Right.
You know.
So it really causes your relationship to have a whole nother level of communication that I think people don't understand.
And trust.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, is openness, right? I mean,
Right.
that's what we're
Mhm.
trying to accomplish.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
I think this is necessary in all relationships, including monogamous. It's just you can pretend a little bit longer or fake it longer in a monogamous relationship before you realize it's not working, right? In fact, the More Than Two book, I think, should be retitled "How Not to Be a Dick," because it's
gosh.
really just a whole bunch of
Right.
just relationship exercises and you know.
Yeah. Oh wow. I really like that book. I'm gonna read it. Yeah, I really like it. It's quite interesting. We were in Hawaii quite a few years back, and we hadn't even started this journey yet, and it was so weird because learning about Hawaiian culture and stuff, and before Westerners got there, that they lived a poly lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to hear that, and it was like you said, all the men took care of everybody. The women were they were free to go, hey, you know what, like, I'm going to go here tonight, and I'm going to go there tonight. And it didn't really matter where they were sleeping that night because everybody was cool, you know? And just to hear that, and it was like, wow, that was one of the first, poly things. Is that okay? Is it? Cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's not portrayed very well right now in media, just in general. And
Yeah.
some of, especially even, I don't know if you've seen that. What's that threesome movie that just came out?
Oh, my God.
There's no I in threesome.
Oh, I
gosh.
saw that.
Okay.
Did you see? Oh, my God.
That
I
was
haven't watched
awful.
it. I saw that it was on
Awful.
Netflix. Yeah.
Oh.
It looks like a nightmare.
Right.
Like,
Oh, my God. It was so horrible. I don't want to even
that
bring it
poor
up. Oh, God.
man.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't just the poor man, but it was just like the whole poor situation.
So
Yeah.
a positive
Yeah.
one that isn't too obvious that it's polyamory, but Sense8, and they have got some of the most sensual scenes of where these people are all in sync with each other. It's a kind of a science fantasy kind of show and stuff like
I
that.
think we've been recommended that one by somebody else as well. I've
Really?
heard of that. Sense8.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
pretty good. But you know, the thing about making all this work and making everybody understand and accept it and like that, it's going to take those weird things. It's going to take comedy to break the ice, just like it did with gay
Right.
and like sort of stuff. You know, shows that broke the ice. Even Milton Berle dressed in drag way back
Mhm.
then, and people like that. You had to kind of, I think, comedy breaks barriers, and you can get messages across that way. So I don't care if there's a show out there that it's more of a sitcom kind of poly thing. Just get it out there, get people talking about it, and so like people.
Comedy, energy, and intent. You know, because it's not like you can't just put somebody out there and be like, you got to laugh at them or whatever. You know, it has to be like something good and thoughtful. You know, it just can't be something like thrown together. You say that, and I just remember like the old In Living Color. You know, just in one of those skits, they two guys were playing gay people. You know,
Mhm.
and they were just so outlandish that it was like, no way, nobody could be like this.
No, of
right?
course
There's no
not.
guys
Yeah.
can be
Of
like
course
this.
not.
And then you see it, and you're like, holy shit, there's guys like this.
Yeah.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Right.
okay. I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you guys coming on. I can't stress enough that, our goal with this whole thing is to make it okay, is to show good foundations and to show that every relationship can be different and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really glad that you guys came on and shared your story with us.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having
Yeah.
us.
And it is
Thank you
pretty
very
new, so
much.
maybe 6 months we can give you an update. Like,
Absolutely.
Oh, man, we would love it.
And you'll have to give us an update about your business too.
Oh, please. Yes.
Yes, we
Plug your
would.
business right now.
Yes. So if you guys are interested in medical edibles,
her
we
hobby.
we Tom and I make edibles. Would you like to help me plug it?
Sure.
yeah.
We make a little bit of everything. We make some sexy treats for Valentine's Day. I don't know if you saw any of those. We
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Oh,
been
yeah.
doing some savory stuff, some delicious, authentic tamales. I like to say I'm her Mexican grandmother.
Seriously. Mwah.
We've had a few, and oh, man, they are
Very good.
They are so good.
Yeah.
My,
Thank
my
you.
favorites, they make
Yeah.
a peanut butter cup, and I'm not a big fan of peanut butter cups, but these peanut butter cups are amazingly good.
Oh my
And then the
gosh.
other thing is just caramel, just plain caramel, and you put it in your coffee in the morning. I don't even need to add creamer. It's just
Oh, wow.
It's
You
delicious.
Shut your mouth right
Just
now.
melt this caramel in the coffee. And
And we can do all milligrams, all dosing. So if you want to look
And
up on
gluten-free.
Instagram, yes,
And gluten-free,
gluten-free.
yeah.
We do vegan treats. If you want to look up on Instagram, it's under Jessibles. Jessibles, Jessibles.
Awesome.
And you can contact us. We can make you pretty much anything your heart desires.
You guys said you had a full menu, correct?
Yes, we do.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Awesome.
God.
We
Yeah,
just gave a
contact
friend.
us and we'll send it to you.
We just gave a friend who's going through a big deal with cancer and stuff like that. Some of the strong like that, and just to
Yes.
hear back that they finally had a good night's sleep.
We have a
and that
lot
kind
of
stuff.
people
Oh
going
my
through
gosh.
all kinds of pain, cancer treatments. Like, I don't even mean to toot my own horn, but a lot of people have said that my butter has helped them because it's so potent. They can get it. They don't have to do all of the hardcore painkillers
Oh man.
that are
That's
really
awesome.
destroying their brains. and
That's
bodies.
amazing,
Right.
guys. That
Yep.
is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
Good luck with all that. And yeah, definitely come back and give us an update soon.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Monogam-ish and opening your mind to love. I can't express how much we both enjoy having you guys tune in every week. Please like and subscribe on YouTube so that you don't miss any of our future episodes. And please, if you would also go to your favorite podcasting library, Spotify, iTunes. We're all over the place, iHeartRadio, and subscribe on all of them for us. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy our show and tune in next time.